It's about a half an hour training. It's fun.
And so that class is led by a trainer.
Right.
And so you have someone who knows what they're doing, supervising people, making sure they're using the equipment right. When people start, not if they're in there on a day pass, but if someone signs up, for a regular membership, so to speak, and they're uncomfortable, and either the equipment is different to them or they've never really used equipment, what kind of things do you have in place to help them out with that?
We offer a 15 to 20 minute free orientation to get them started, show them around, show them how to do the adjustments on the machines, and just give them some examples to get them started.
Okay. And then other than that, they can purchase a training session or multiple training sessions.
And we have packages for the training sessions as well. We've got hour sessions, half-hour sessions, and we've got 5 and 10 visit sessions.
Well, that's nice because we always had the 1 hour session. So I think the half hour is a good thing because if people are starting out, sometimes that's enough.
It is enough for those starting out.
As we were before the show started, before the first rain delay, I was talking to your trainer, and he said him and I were talking about this new fad that's come along where there's 30 minutes. Did you guys already talk about this?
No.
It's 30 minutes, and that's enough workout, and they're charging like $150 a month. It's so tough to compete these days when these I don't even know what you call them. These half-hour workouts. These half-hour workouts are popping up on every street corner.
We have a different gig. We're just on the beach. Yeah. It's a totally different thing. People don't want to sit in the traffic in the season for an hour each direction to go and have their workout. So that doesn't really bother me. And we try to have a little small session of that by having our 8 o'clock in the morning small group training session.
They do. Now the yoga, I have to agree with you. I'm trying to get into yoga because flexibility at my age is becoming an issue. So I appreciate a good yoga class. And do you have any other, do your trainers do flexibility training with some of your folks? Is that a component?
We have Gianna, who's very well trained in a lot of aspects. She does a lot of core training. She's almost like a therapist. She's amazing. She does some stretching. We've got a massage table there.
I noticed, on her bio, it said pre and post kind of rehab stuff. So she's got all of those certifications.
She does, and she keeps continuing. She just got done with the shoulder and neck training, which seems to be where a lot of people carry their tension, and she's learned some great things that are helping people already in just a couple of weeks of having that course behind her. So
now, I know you guys do things together too. It's like a good bonding experience when you're together with the members and you become friends and all that. And one of the things that you guys do is go to the Everblades games together, which is pretty cool. Have you ever thought of maybe doing a race together, like a Tough Mudder or something like that?
I don't know about a Tough Mudder. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but we should probably start out with a 5K or do something small and local. We have a lot of seniors that come to our gym as well. So
cool. Well, they could do the Tough Mudders. You can help them up the walls and all that. Anything else you want, everybody? I feel crappy because you got interrupted the first part of the show, and then we got rained on. But thank you for drying off all the equipment. That was wonderful of you.
Pleasure.
I mean, this is what we refer to in our house as making memories. You can't plan something out like this.
Right.
You just have to.
Well, and I know you were nervous about coming on. So see, now the rain completely doused all of that.
Made me nervous.
So. Yeah, he was running around like a lunatic.
Why do you want people to come to Hammerhead and tell us, make the pitch so that people that don't know why they should go down there should come down and start a workout with you?
Well, it'll make you feel better, have more energy. You'll sleep better. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll look better. You're in Florida. You're wearing less clothes than you wear when you're living up north. So it's just a great environment. Like you mentioned, it's clean. It's friendly. A name like Hammerhead is scary to the women. They think it's an all-guy gym. That's why I have my picture on the window trying to let people know, hey, there's women in here. You don't have to have a lot of big muscles. We just come in, get toned, and stay healthy. Feel better about yourself.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany, thanks so much for coming on. Again, we apologize for the bad weather, but you did awesome. You were great, and we hope everybody comes out. What are the hours?
We are open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. In the season, it'll change till 8 p.m. Saturdays are 8 a.m. until 2, and Sundays are 9 to 1. We only close on Christmas.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you.
hopefully we'll have you on without a rain delay next time.
Yes,
All right.
thank you
Thanks
so
a lot. Thanks a lot.
much.
Great
Tiffany
day.
from the owner of Hammerhead Gym for the last 22 years. We appreciate her coming down and putting up with our shenanigans
know.
down here. Thank you, Tiffany, and thanks to everybody
Dave
that came
that
down.
came
Dave that
down.
came down, and Diane for hooking us
Yeah,
all up
that's
together.
Diane's
You
trainer.
know, Marty, come on over, Marty. We'll get Moose at the end. Moose is
Okay.
probably going crazy too. But one of the things I wanted to mention before we started with Marty was that Terry came over before the show started and she said, "Look at my phone. It's going to rain." And I looked at her like it doesn't rain on the show. It never rains on the show. But she showed me the cloud coming right over Pete's, and she was right. She was right.
Why don't you listen to her?
Because I had everything already set up and the whole thing. But anyway, enough about us, Marty. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Now, we appreciate the first thing I wanted to ask you was I was running across the bridge today and I noticed your parking lot at Doc's is a freaking mess, man. What the hell's going on down there?
Look, every day it gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's part of the whole process. You know, progress has a cost associated with it. In our
Right.
particular case, it's that parking lot, part of the development order from Lee County with the new dry storage building that's there. Is they had to redo the entire parking lot. And as much as it's been, you know, kind of a hindrance to our business and so forth, it's something that had to be done.
Right.
And our theory on that is let's get it done. Let's get the shovels in the ground and let's get moving and go back to business as normal.
Right.
And you know, it's all going to be good when it's all finished
Right.
and done. So
Now, it was 5 o'clock in the morning when I was going over the bridge running this morning, and they had the big light on, and they were working at that. Did they work right through the night on the parking
you know,
lot?
boy, you have more information than I do.
Yeah, they were working and pouring the
That's
cement
awesome.
this morning.
Well, they promised me yesterday that they would start on the second half of the parking lot and do half of the half of the second half of the parking lot. So it's I hope that by Friday of next week, it's all the concrete in our original parking place is finished and we're back to normal. And then they'll finish the rest of the diversified,
Yeah.
or not the diversified, but the Gulf Star Marina.
Is it impacting your business? Because it
Well-
really is a huge lot that they're redoing.
Well, it's anytime you don't have parking, it impacts your business.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think our people do such a great job. And they really do, and that people just keep coming back and back and back.
Right.
And, you know, we just kind of have to work through it.
I mean, there's still parking, just
Yeah.
not right there. I
Right,
mean, there's
exactly.
parking under the bridge.
Right.
There's the free lot. It's
Right.
not like they can't walk
Right.
a little bit for
Yeah.
the great
And-
food.
And we've initiated some valet parking and things over the years, and I think we're doing that now just to accommodate people
Nice.
and so forth. But it's a fun place. It's a neat place, and you know, Doc Ford's a Dixie Fish. So
That's right. We went to Dixie Fish Company for what was it, Mother's Day?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
we
we
hadn't
loved
been
it.
there.
We ne-
It was
hadn't been there.
amazing.
it's pretty neat.
The staff was fantastic. I mean, and they were busy, but they were hauling it through, and
Yeah.
we had such a
Great.
great
Now,
view.
Marty, for the 4 people that are watching and listening that don't know,
That many.
no, just the 4 that don't know what you're part of, what you own, what you're, you know,
Okay.
you're tell everybody how how many tentacles you have in this community.
Oh, well, you know what? I've been here in the community in Lee County since 1991 full time. And, you know, we first got involved with the Beach Whale. I bought the Beach Whale back in 97, and that was kind of the start of my restaurant career. We after that opened Doc Ford's. We have 3 Doc Ford's, one on Sanibel, one in Captiva, one on Fort Myers Beach. We're in the process of building and opening one, hopefully the first of the year in St. Petersburg,
Oh wow!
Nice.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
The new pier that they're building and stuff. What a magnificent city that is.
Any chance we could do a show out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd
We
be
got
awesome.
a beach area. I mean, right by the restaurant. We'd love to have you come up and do it. It
Our
would be
agent will call
wonderful.
you. My
Okay.
agent will call you.
Please do, please do. And you know, it's and then we opened the Dixie Fish Company. So we have what do we have? 4. We have 5 restaurants now. We'll have 6 shortly. And I've been involved in the community and
Yes, you
particularly
have.
Sanibel for lots of years. And you know, I think our philosophy, our culture says that, you know, if we're going to be a part of the community, we're all in. And if we make our money here, we're
Yeah.
going to give back some of our money, and we're going to be involved. And I was involved in city government on Sanibel with people like Kevin Ruane, who is our mayor for a lot of years, and
Right.
we've worked together and in an effort to make it a better place. And that's where my kids grew up. I want it to be the best place to live for everybody.
What did you do you were a city
Mayor?
council member?
I started off initially in a planning commission.
Okay.
And then from there, I was elected to city council. I got to be mayor for 1 year. And in fact, I was mayor during Hurricane Charlie.
Oh, lucky
and
you.
I teased and say, I lost the next election, and I kind of teased it. I lost the next election because I caused Hurricane Charlie. But anyway, it's I think one of the things that I've noticed over the years on Sanibel is how the ability to work together as a community and have a
Right.
good council and people that are engaged. And we don't always agree, but we all agree on one thing: we want it to be the best place to live,
Right.
and raise our children. And that's what's important. And Sanibel, under lots of different leadership, especially Kevin Ruane's leadership, it's been magnificent. I mean, we've done more great things for a small town
Right.
than you could shake a stick at.
Right. So why the restaurant business?
You know what? When I had sold a business in St. Louis, I owned a business called Batalic Balloon Company. I made those Mylar balloons, say happy
wow.
birthday and get well. So I was a balloonatic, I like to say.
Wow.
And I sold it to Enterprise Leasing back in 1991. And
How much you get for it?
a few dollars.
Yeah.
And but then I had to pay a lot of taxes and stuff. And I learned a little bit about that situation
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But you know what? It's part of the system.
That's
Right.
a good lesson to have to learn.
Yeah, it is. And when I moved down here, I realized after I settled up with the government and everybody else, I thought, you know what? My boys at the time were 3 and 6, and are now 34 and 31. I was going to run out of money, so I had to have something to do. And I thought, all my life I've been a sales and marketing guy, traveled all over, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I just looked for different options, and I hooked up with a fellow by the name of Mark Marinello, who's my partner now, along with my wife, and we started looking for opportunities. And one of the opportunities was the Beached Whale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, that's how we got in the restaurant business. But we were smart enough to say we didn't know the restaurant business, so we put a guy on our team. We made him a partner and said, who was in the business, you run it, and we'll go from there. And the rest is history. Good people. Secret to success: surround yourself with the best people you can, coach them up, and get the heck out of the way.
Right.
Let
right.
them do their job.
Yep, you got it.
So let's start with the whale. The
Mhm.
infamous tapes.
Now,
Are from
well, I just so the name changed recently.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Well-
that you were saying the beached whale, but
Yes.
now it's the whale.
Well, our marketing director, who happens to be my son, said we needed to change the image a little bit, and when we have over time. I mean, at one time we were the spring break place. We had bands
Really?
going until 3:00 in the morning and stuff. And it just, I think the market has changed. There's not so much of that anymore.
Right.
So we said, we're in the restaurant business. That's what we want to do. So part of the whole metamorphosis of what we were and where we're going. And I think it all kind of started when we started to dig up the streets and put in, the infrastructure that we needed with the sewer lines, the gas lines, and things like water lines. And it was pretty difficult for us to kind of hold up to our volume and that kind of stuff. And and so we just decided it was time to make that change, and we did it. And so here we are. Right?
So because the beached whale he thought it was kind of negative.
Yeah.
It like
was,
it's a dead animal or something.
It was just kind of,
Nice.
Connotation.
So let's get on to they're starting out with the tapes, the world famous tapes of Tracy and Dennis and Chris Patton actually took place in your establishment there. That's where it all started.
Well, you know what? And I to be real frank with you, I don't really have a whole lot of knowledge about it.
You want to hear them? I can play them now.
Well,
No, I'm
you know
just
what?
kidding. I'm just
trust
kidding.
me, I did hear them and so forth.
And
I
most of them are like this.
yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it other than, everybody's got an opinion and that kind of stuff. And I mean, this whole issue has been so controversial,
Right.
and whatnot. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Why is it a shame?
Well, I think it's a shame because it's the whole intent of TPI and Torgerson was to do something that was good for the community, to make money, that kind of thing, but something that I think this community sorely needs. Like, we're in the process right now at the beach, at the Whale.
I know.
It's stuck in your mind, Marty.
Yes. Well, I'm an old creature of old habit, but we're in the process of looking at what are we going to do with the whale? Do we redo the whole whale? Do we scrape it? Do we build something new? But I mean, when I remember the first meeting they had in Lee County about, the project Margaritaville, which, was not Margaritaville at the time, but I remember the county commissioners, right, talking about, in the introduction of this is what it was going to be. I think first and foremost, the advice that Tom was given initially, as far as the rollout, it was scary when people saw it. It was scary, and it was overkill, I thought, and but that's what it was.
A lot of people thought that.
And then the other thing that I thought was the most telling factor was one of the county commissioners said, you know what, listen, we've had developers here one after the other. You're like the 7th or 8th developer here, and you know what, you're all the same. And I sat there and I thought to myself, that's not true. Tom Torgerson and TPI and John Danneman are totally different. What's the difference? They wrote checks for tens of millions of dollars and made a serious commitment to the improvement and progress of this community, which, I think it needs. And
if it were you and there wasn't so much money involved, would you walk away from all the aggravation?
Oh, you know what? I think that Tom and Mary Torgerson are probably, I mean, what their blood pressure must really be if you put a cuff on them, I can't imagine. But I mean, they've always been professional in everything that they've done, and their partners and so forth. I would have had a stroke.
Why is it? How is it? Why is it? And how is it that a small, like a handful of people, maybe a less than a handful of people, can have so much control over something that's been overwhelmingly approved by a community?
Well, I think it's more misinformation than anything else. I mean, I think we have a legal system that says, anybody can sue anybody. And that's one of the unfortunate things. There's no repercussions if I sue you for having a radio show because I don't like your radio show.
Right.
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 I mean,
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
I'm just saying.
People are going to get in line.
That's not fair. And to do what's happening here, where all of a sudden, somebody files a lawsuit. The lawsuit went through the system. Right. The lawsuit, the judge said, no, there's nothing here. Let's move on. And then you do it again. I mean, it's criminal. I think it's criminal to do that to people.
Right. So what do you think needs to be done in order to get people to agree that this is the right, person, really, it's one person. Right?
Well, let's be frank here, okay? Yeah. I think it's Mr. Condelaris, right, and the gal down the street from me who, he's funding her, I'm sure, right? And so she files a lawsuit and so on and so forth. I mean, I would love for us to be able to sit down, right, and say, let's be professional about this and not emotional, and let's look at what really happens when something like this, when competition comes into the marketplace. I love competition.
Makes you better.
I remember, that's exactly right. It makes you better, right? I remember when we opened Doc Ford's on the beach, I talked to one of the merchants there and I said, listen, don't get panicky that I'm going to take all your business. All I'm going to do is I'm going to bring thousands more people to this neighborhood, and you are going to reap the benefit of that. When we opened Dixie Fish Company, I said it again. And all we've done is made that little corner. People go there. They want to go there. There's fun places to go. There's music, there's food, there's entertainment, all those kinds of things. And so that's what. So
Marty, you've been around this community a long time.
Yes.
You know everybody.
Well, yes, I know a lot of people.
Okay, so why is it that there's not a single person on this beach that can convince that one man that this is the right thing for everybody?
Well, I think there's probably movement in that direction. And I think, it's like, I always say as a salesperson, that's what I've done. You don't start selling until the person says no. I mean, I think, a better job needs to be done when you talk to, I don't like this. This is not going to work. I mean, I know people on my block that were vehemently opposed to this program. And I said, let me ask you a couple questions.
So wait, just so everybody knows, do you live on Primo?
No. I'm talking about the Whale.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
And I live on Sanibel. And
gotcha.
Anyway, and I've sat down and talked to my neighbors and said, listen, here's what I think will happen. And I pretty much guarantee it. Whatever your universal occupancy rate is at your hotel now, this hotel opens up. It's going to there are going to be more people here. Now, the other thing that's going to happen, whatever your rates are here, I think they'll probably be a little bit higher over here. You can't lose. You can raise your rates, your occupancy will go up. And over time, as you start to sit back and take the emotions out of it and think about it from a business standpoint, you say, let's see, my occupancy goes up. That's more revenue. My rates can probably inch up a little bit.
Right.
That's more revenue. That equates to more profit. Geez, why wouldn't I be in favor of this?
So what's the answer? Why does one person think that Is it just
I
that
think
people
it's-
want it to be the they want it to be the old beach?
I think that's part of it. I think it's I don't want to say it's just it's closed mind thinking. It's like I'm here. It's fear. I'm afraid of competition coming in. Don't be afraid of embrace it. I say embrace it. I mean, because all it's going to do is make you get better at what you do, and it's going to be great for the community. I mean, this community is unbelievable. It's a sleeping giant.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned. And, I had the luxury of having been involved in kind of the same scenario on Sanibel. And we look at Sanibel and some of the stuff that we've been able to do over there with a lot of good leadership. And
Right.
leadership's important. People like Kevin and so forth, where, you get new rec centers. You talk about new senior centers. It's unbelievable, stuff that you have to do. Our police department. We have a police department now that we have to build some more structure because we have female police officers and we need to have facilities for them.
Yeah.
So it's all progress, but it's all good.
So, how's the leadership here doing?
The leadership here is baby steps, I guess, is one of my favorite phrases. It's getting better, but I think to take as a leader in a position where you have influence over a lot of decisions, you have to keep such an open mind and look at the pluses and the minuses. And I think overall, the constituents here want this to happen.
Yeah.
So let's get the shovels in the ground and get it moving.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think the shovels are going to go in the ground.
When?
I hope by December. I hope a judge looks at this and says, come on, folks, it's over. This is done. We went through the process. It was a stringent, strict process. Everybody, we got a 5-0 vote. Now let's get the shovels in the ground and get this thing going, right? This community needs this.
Right.
No, listen. This is your whole deal. I bow out on this discussion. I know that I was looking at some of your stuff. I got a hair here. Looking at some of your stuff last night, and it's going to change the subject. But you also, do you do a lot of baseball? Did you do?
Well, I used to do a lot of coaching and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I'm too doggone old anymore. I used to coach on the islands on Sanibel and all different kind of coaching. I coached at Bishop Moreau, freshman football and stuff. And I got to a point where when one of the kids would throw the ball back and they say, look out, because I wasn't looking and I couldn't move fast enough to get out of the way, I thought it was time to hang up my cleats. And pass the baton to the younger generation.
But you did that for how many years?
A lot of years. You know what?
Like
It's
25
Look,
years.
it's
he
part
put
of
in.
giving back. I grew up in Philadelphia on the streets. There was always somebody's dad there saying, let's coach these kids and stuff. So it was my turn. That's all. It's my turn.
Well, maybe we just need to do a big baseball game, and
do it.
whoever wins gets to put the shovel in the ground.
I know what team I'm going to be on. Team Torgensen and TPI.
I don't know. I'm glad that you have a positive attitude about it, and I hope there are things going on that change my opinion about it. But if you wait for the very last day on a weekend when the boat races are going on in this town and you file an appeal so you can screw people as much as you can, I don't see, unless somebody knows him in a way that nobody's been able to pull out of their hat yet, why he wouldn't just try and continue this. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong tomorrow, and I hope you're right about the shovels getting in the ground, because I don't see how it doesn't raise everybody's rates and raise everybody's the money they make and the value of their homes. It just seems like, and it looks like crap now. It looks like, and how long is it? Not everything down there, but a good part of that area from the hurricane still looks terrible.
Sure. It's just that old phrase about a rising tide.
Right.
It's amazing. Like I probably would never even have thought of doing anything to the Whale until I see the excitement of this new resort possibility, and it's going to happen. And I'm saying, you know what? I want to get on the bandwagon here. I need to do something, right? If here I am. I'm a little restaurant guy. I don't know how many restaurants are going to have in Margaritaville. 3, 4, 5. Am I crying? I'm saying, bring them, right? I'll compete. I'll find a way to compete.
Well, you have a great location there too,
Yes,
and
we do. Yes, we
probably
do.
a normal, regular clientele that loves going there, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I met your manager at the chili contest that they had at the women's club.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was actually, it's going on a year ago now, and she just loved it and said things were going great.
People always say to me, Harity, how do you do this? And I'm not kidding when I say this. It's people.
Yeah.
It's that you hire the best people you can, you coach them up, and you just surround yourself with, it's like coaching a baseball team.
There you
Same
go.
thing. Get the best players, coach them up, get them working together. Boom.
What advice do you have for residents of the community? What could they do, being that you've been in government, you're watching what's going on this beach? What can they do? Anything?
I think you just have to get vocal. You have to send letters to the editor. I mean, even call up Mr. Condelaris and say, you know what, we need this. We want this. Now let's all come back as a family here. Let's stop fighting. This is going to happen. We want it to happen, and we want you to be a part of it. You've been a viable part of this community. Why wouldn't you want to continue to be a viable part of the community? And let's work together.
Did you? What'd you think of the boat races?
I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
I took my boat out early Saturday morning. It reminded me of watching a movie about the landing in Normandy. Right?
Yeah, there's
so many boats
out there. Yeah.
And I will tell you, the crowd was wonderful.
Yeah.
The business was wonderful.
That's
Reminded me of the old days on the beach. I'll tell you another thing that I think that happened is a lot of people who decided not to come to the beach anymore because of the construction and that kind of stuff. They came down for that because it was a special event, and they saw that the construction is kind of progressing way down, so we can come back. And I can tell you, our numbers at the Whale are an indication that people are coming back. It's not all torn up. It's not all beat up.
Oh no! Yeah, you're right.
And
You're right. Especially, it's just every weekend.
Absolutely.
Coming down, you can tell it's getting a lot
It's like
better.
my parking lot. We got to get it done.
Right.
Let's get it
And,
done.
and we're coming into season, so
Are you hanging out with Vice President Pence out there on your boat? Did you guys-
no, he doesn't. No,
He didn't swim across.
he
He didn't swim across your boat and hang out with you. You're lying, aren't you, Marty?
No,
You're lying. Look at
actually,
you, he's
I
turning
never
red,
lie.
dear.
I never lie because I can't remember who I lied to. So I just tell the truth all the time. Sometimes it's not good, but sometimes it's better to keep my mouth shut.
The first time we met was at one of the boat race events that you had at your place over there. And why the hell has it taken so long to get you on the show?
Well,
we talked about it.
You
back
probably
then.
heard things about my reputation that were probably
No.
not true. So I'm not putting him on this
No.
show. He's a
Oh, no.
nutcase.
And we asked your friend, the author, that lives
Randy?
on
Randy,
and he shot us down.
Really?
He said he's writing a new book now.
Yeah, well,
said he was
actually, he's
right-
got 2 books coming out in February and March. He has one, a children's book called Finn, and it's geared toward the teenage years and younger. And then he has another Doc Ford book coming out in the latter part of March, which I don't recall the title at this stage of the game.
How many books has he written? Do you know?
I'm going to
Well, we
I'm
won't
gonna say
hold you to it.
24.
Wow.
And I mean, it's when you look at a guy who's written that many books, and I think over 20 of them have been on the New York Times bestsellers list.
Wow.
He's the real deal.
Right.
How much
right.
money do you think he's made over the years?
Oh, more than me.
Wow. 24 books.
But-
How many on the New York Times bestseller
I think over 20 of them have been
Wow.
have been on the New York
And
Times at
he
least for a week.
originally is from this area
He was
because
from Ohio.
a fish, and then
Originally from Ohio, then he moved down here, and he was a reporter. I mean, he worked for the news
for
press.
like
he worked
Outside Magazine.
Yeah, he did a lot of that
and he
stuff.
was a big fisherman.
He was a fishing
Look at
guide.
you.
Fishing guide.
Knowing
No,
all
you're right.
about-
No, you did a lot of homework.
Yeah.
He was a fishing guide for a lot of
Long-
years.
Yeah,
And he started to write while he was guiding and so forth. And
he's
he
been to
had
some amazing
different iterations
places.
of who his protagonist was going to be,
Mhm.
and then Doc Ford surfaces, and boom. So there
Are
you
you?
are.
Are any of the books have you as a character in them?
No, they wouldn't sell.
Oh,
There goes
you're a
Ryan again.
character. Your character would sell.
No, we all get recognition and so forth in the books, but
So, anything else you want to talk about or mention about the beach or anything like that?
I just think again, I think we're an integral part. Our company is an integral part of the beach.
Yeah.
We think the beach is a sleeping giant, and has a lot of potential, better potential than it has now. It's progress. It's stuff that we need, and let's all kind of come together and let's do what's right for the community, because it's like the rising tide. As it rises, we all rise with it.
And
Whether it's
what's-
revenue, real estate values, etc.
and what's your last piece of advice for Mr. Condelaris?
Sit down and listen to some people if they're going to talk to you about options here. Don't have a closed mind about I remember when. Well, we all remember when, but it's now. And let's try to talk about now and the future.
Well, thanks for coming on. We
You bet.
appreciate your
Thank
time
you
very
so
much.
much.
so
Thank
much.
you very
My
much.
pleasure.
Marty
Thanks,
Harity,
Ed.
everybody. Big
Thank
hand
you
if
so much.
the crowd is going wild for Marty. Does an awesome job. If we were outside where it was raining earlier.
I know. I feel like it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because I think we lost a lot of our peeps.
No,
and
we actually
Did
Marty
we?
brought in a big audience there once we got
that's what I'm saying.
reconnected.
No, I mean he's he's going to bring in a big audience, and everybody wants to hear what he has to say because he is a character.
Oh yeah, we need to have
He
him.
is a
He could do
character.
his maybe if
He
you
could do his own.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to stay, close friends with him so that we can go to St. Pete and do a show because that would be pretty cool. doing a
I know.
show
I
in
was
St.
going
Pete.
to ask him maybe to host something like a get together for everybody to air their grievances about the project and maybe spread some goodwill and move this
At
forward.
the whale, at the beach whale.
Anywhere.
Oh.
No, I mean
Yeah.
anywhere, and get
Maybe we can hold it at the Lonnie Kai.
the parties who are, and see if they can just come to an agreement.
Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be like the State Department, or what do you call the people that negotiate all those things?
A
It'd be like-
negotiator.
yeah. Okay. All right. Why don't you see
An
if you
ambassador?
can get our friend here to come on for a little bit while I read a quick couple of ads because of the rain kind of threw us for. If you missed the first video, I think the first video will see us all scattering in the rain before we reconnected inside. But we wanted to let you know that Shuckers at the Cottage Bar has a brand new happy hour. So we want to let you know that they're located just steps south of the pier. They're hosting their 32nd annual Halloween party this Saturday, October 26th at 8 o'clock to midnight. Prizes for the best costumes, full bar, and late night menu available. The new vinyls will be rocking the cottage starting at 8 o'clock to midnight. So we hope to see you there. We appreciate Shuckers and the Cottage Bar being one of our sponsors. We want to see if we could grab Kevin Rowane real quick. I want to make sure we got you. You have yes, you
Okay,
are
great.
on. We know you have a fundraiser coming up, right? We want to make sure we get that out there.
Yeah, Sam Galloway Ford on Boy Scout, October 30th, 5:30 to 7:30. Have about 100 people ready, RSVP. Love to get the community out. Get to come talk to me.
All right, and that's Kevin's running for
County Commission. Lee County Commission, District 1. So obviously we run at large, so anyone could vote for me in the entire county.
So does District 1 mean anything?
So
Lynn?
you cover a district, so you have a particular territory, but we run at large because we vote in the entire budget,
Okay.
which affects the entire county.
So what is District 1 made
So
of?
District 1 is Captiva, all the way through Sanibel, all the coastal line of Cape Coral, Pine Island, Mount Lachey, and Boca Grande. That's my district. So people obviously want to go to the district representative first and talk about it. But I always encourage people to come and talk to any issue.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're going to have, the five of us are going to have to deliberate.
Right.
And you're going to talk about it. And you're really not just going to worry about your district or my district. You're going to worry about our district, which is Lee County.
How have things been going so far in the campaign? I'm sure they've been going great for
It's
you.
been growing great. You know what? The message, it's really crisp. It's lower taxes. It's improving our waterways. It's working with people. And I just think, the county has so much more to offer. And I'm just happy to be part of the team.
Every time we see you, every time a water issue is coming up, we see you in the picture or behind the podium.
I'm going to D.C. on Sunday.
Okay.
I'm now the Florida League of Mayors president. So there's 412 mayors relying on me to lead them. I have 51-person board. And we go up there. It'll be our third trip this month to go up there and talk to people about they funding this requirement. And it was a contract. In a real simple way, the federal and the state entered into a contract. We're both going to be 50-50 partners. They're $1.1 billion behind in their funding. Money will fix this quicker.
Uh-huh.
And my job is to go beg.
Why are they behind?
A number of reasons. You think about it, they represent 50 states, and they represent all people coming there. The good news is we went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. There's 1,400 mayors representing all the states. They wrote a resolution for us to actually get Everglades funding.
Yeah.
Which meant they thought my project potentially was more important than their project in their own state. And that, I think, was the most powerful piece of legislation we had going up to Washington. And that's what I do. Face-to-face meetings with senators talking about it. The House will do it. The Senate really is the consternation.
One year after the big mess that we had down here, how did things turn out, in your opinion, water-wise?
Things turned out great. You know what? We had a governor that came through and really fired the entire water management district. And as a result of that, we managed the water from the lake. And we got the right amount of releases when we needed them and no releases when we didn't. The biggest difference, that's the biggest difference of what took place. And if we could do that going forward, we can wait for these projects. But, there's a lot of projects going on right now.
Right.
Yesterday, they kicked off the groundbreaking ceremony at C-43. So in 3 years, that'll be online. We just need the money to keep on. It's a construction project.
Right.
Think about having 20 jobs lined up and the bank hasn't funded you. My job is to make sure that project 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 get funded. That's really my job.
How many people are running? Do we know exactly how many people are running for the seat you are yet?
There's two people, myself and another gentleman. He's a fire commissioner from Mount Lachey. He's running other races before. Certainly look forward to people understanding my message.
Yep.
And what separates me from him.
And is the deadline over for people to get into the race?
No, so you still have till June
Okay.
of 2020 to qualify. And you qualify, you either have to get signatures, 10,000, or write a check.
Gotcha.
That's how you qualify.
Gotcha. Okay, one more time. When's the fundraiser?
October 30th, 5:30 to 7:30, Sam Galloway Ford on Boy Scout.
Everybody's welcome.
Absolutely.
All right.
Come
Kev,
talk to me.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
We
Ed.
you
Appreciate
always
it. You have a
coming
great
down,
day.
being on the show. Kevin Ruane, everybody, vote for Kevin for County Commissioner, District 1. His microphone's better. Switch microphone. Oh, yeah, that's much better. So you take that one because that one's stronger. I got to fix that microphone. One more sponsor before we get into our ending spiel. Fort Myers Tiki Tours are coming to the beach. We were hoping to have them on today, but they changed their plans. They went to Disney instead of coming here. So I can't blame them for that. They have two boats. The boats are already here. The phone number, if you want to start thinking about making reservations, 239-887-0042, 239-887-0042. And they're the kind of boats where you get on the boat with your friends.
Extra spot, call me. I'll join you.
That's not what you're here to say, dear.
Oh, sorry.
We're here to promote the Tiki Tour boats. It's going to be $39.99 for plus tax for 6 guests per boat. And then sunsets will be $44.99.
Yes, that's per person. It's not like you're getting the boat for $40.
Right. You can't just grab the boat and get behind the wheel and start.
No, because there does have to be then they have them, the Coast Guard registered captains. It's not like you get to take the boat out.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just bring your own, whatever you're going to bring. And I mean, legal
party
stuff.
on.
Bring all the
Yeah.
legal stuff that. So check them out. And then you can check them out at FortMyersTikiTours.com, FortMyersTikiTours.com. Call them and tell them you heard it on the show. You won't get a discount, but that's okay. It's still going to be a fun time. Our Facebook Live was sponsored by Salty Dog and Gallery and Gifts. Carla, we thank you so much for doing that today, and we apologize for being interrupted. If you joined us late, you missed the rain out. We had a rain out at the first part of our show.
That had to be some funny video, but it is beautiful.
It is now. The rain it only lasted long enough for us to scatter like ants and to get all the equipment wet.
But honestly, I think it's moved out, and I'm anxious to go over and see how the Surfers for Autism thing is progressing. They're going to be conducting that all day today.
Yeah, I guess Moose went back, huh? I know we were trying to grab him.
Very busy.
Right, so they're doing the Surfers for Autism on the beach today, which is cool. And
It's
they're
free for the kids.
They're also doing some kind of zombie thing, I think.
They are?
If John's listening, maybe he can put it in the Facebook. They're doing some kind of Carrie Weig is doing some kind of zombie walk thing. I think it is.
Like later?
Like today on the beach. I thought I saw that it was today on the beach. So if you know about that, feel free to post it on our site. And there was just let's see, a couple of things that we wanted to go back to from last week, and that was you were in such a pissy mood after the show last week because of the cat fight comment. And then when we went home, it was like you went to the dictionary to look up cat fight, and it was such a derogatory term toward women. And I don't even remember why.
It was derogatory.
Why did I even say that last week about having a cat fight? Because there were two girls fighting or something.
I just think sometimes you say things and you don't even realize that they could be offensive.
I do. I'm very aware of not being offensive anymore.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't think I offended anyone yet today. So I watch it very closely. So, and then there was one thing that I really want to know everybody's opinion on. So we go home after the show and we have our workout clothes, and I like to throw my workout clothes in the washing machine to get them clean as quickly as possible because they stank. They have that workout stank on them. So as I throw my stuff in and I start walking away and go to look for something else, she grabs my dog's bed, which has duty on it. It's got stuck. Let me finish the story. She has stuck duty. It has stuck duty on it. It was duty.
It was not. It had a lot of hair on it.
It had duty stuck to it. The duty, not a full dude, but it had like a little bit of residue duty, and it was stuck on the bed. And so as I'm turning the corner, I look out of the corner of my eye, and she's putting the duty in with my clothes. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna put the dog duty with my clothes
Listen,
in the washing
The bed
machine.
did not have duty on it. I had
Oh.
cleaned everything up. The thing needed to be washed. It had a lot of hair on it. You don't give the dog. Oh yeah, you don't give the dog.
Don't
bath.
change the subject
dog
about the
stinks
bath.
So bad.
As soon as I walked
I-
into, I wish everybody could see this. As soon as I walked by the washing machine, she goes like this.
Slowly pulled
Busted.
it back out.
I said, "Where are your work clothes? Put your work clothes in there with the duty. Why does it have to be on my
But
clothes?"
your clothes are disgusting.
Oh, still, I don't want to take my clothes out of the washer and
Well,
then put my hand in my pocket and there's duty.
What is a washer for? It's gonna wash
No,
the
it's going to-
clothes. And I had it on 2 rinses.
Whatever, dear.
be
You were any
fair
of your clothes
to
in the
your
wash?
clothes. I doubt it.
Okay, yeah, that's what.
doubt
That's
it.
right. None of your clothes are in the wash. Let me throw the dog duty in
Well,
with his
then
clothes
you-
to see if he can figure it out. Put my hand in my
That's what a
workout pants, and
washer
there's a
is
big
for.
dog duty.
That's
Huh?
right. Yeah, you
Ridiculous.
wouldn't know.
Anyway, I think the guys are going to be on my side for that one.
Do your own laundry.
I'm starting to sense a little positivity with Mr. Condelaris. Like there's something going on around here that I don't know about. You know what I'm saying?
We'll keep you out of the loop because you
Yeah.
loose lips sink ships.
No,
and
I'm
we
gonna-
need this ship to rise up.
That's
and
right.
Everybody
All the
move
ships are
on.
rising up. Isn't that a song? All the ships are rising up.
I don't know, but it was great to have him on.
I have a question for all the animal people out there. Why is
Oh,
it
boy.
that every morning I get up, there's these little tiny worms in our back on our back deck? Like, where do those little worms come from? It's like they're not even alive or anything. They're just little tiny, like, and then if you step on them, they crunch.
Well,
What
they have a
in-
hard shell on them. They're really like little centipedes.
Okay, how do they just appear out of nowhere? Like there's 15 of them, and then you look in the pool and there's 30 more little
Dear,
worms.
I will say a lot of times you bring up some interesting subjects and funny subjects. That is not one of them.
Well, where do they
That
come
is-
from? We have a closed-in lanai. Where are they reproducing? How are they just like?
We
And then
open the
your
door to let
and
the
then your
dog out.
stupid ass dog gets out there and she rolls around in them. That's how she's dying. She's got some kind of worm tumor from rolling around on the worms. I'm gonna put the worms in your pockets and throw them in
You
the
know what?
washing machine.
That's what I'm gonna do.
It'll
I'm
be
gonna put
even.
them in the washer for you.
Even Steven. So listen, next week we're gonna have somebody from Buccaneer Road on because there's some stuff going on
Going on
Buccaneer
there.
Road. You know, the people are upset that the road construction is coming down Buccaneer Road, but
So
it's
not-
gotta
okay.
it's gotta happen, and they just feel like they weren't dealt with above board. I don't know if I agree with
Well, I
that, but
think
we'll
the-
see. We'll see
the
what
road
happens
looks-
next week.
I mean, the part that's
Oh,
done
yeah, it
is
looks great.
amazing. Looks fantastic.
I know I'm forgetting 1,000 things because of the
well,
rain.
my notebook got completely wet, so I had all these events that are coming up because there's a lot of events coming up here on
Yeah.
the beach, and so I would
Lot of
refer
events.
you to the Women's Club website.
That's
and
right.
the
They have a
Chamber
Christmas thing
website
coming up. They have the
because,
chili
there's so
contest
much
coming up.
in November and in December, and lots of fun things. Not just weekend things. Actually, there's a lot of stuff that goes on during the week. We can't participate, but the folks down here can.
Right. All right. Well, this was a fun day. I mean, even after all that stuff, we only went over by 13 minutes. So that
There you
was
go.
cool. So, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Shuckers in the Cottage. By the way, we had a great time there last week watching the races on TV.
That was nice. Yeah.
They had some great food and they had a nice big crowd. And, of course,
Nope.
thanks to Pete and John and Debbie for
Did
letting
you
us.
try those coconut pancakes?
I did, and they were delicious. But, man, I got to stop eating so much.
I know.
3 weeks, by the way. Oh, let me tell you what's coming up with us besides our show. Oh, I knew I was going to forget this,
Oh,
but I'm
here
going
we
to
go.
tell everybody now. Last weekend, we were talking about doing a race together next year. I said we should do something together because we're not together
Don't say
enough.
something that I think you're going to
So
say.
we should do something together. So I signed us up for a race without telling you. We're going to do an Ironman relay in Haines City in April. You're going to swim. I'm going to bike. You're going to run.
Okay.
Even Steven.
Here's
right?
the thing.
Yeah. April?
I went in April because I am signing up with my girlfriends at
Oh,
work
no,
to
no.
do a coast
There's
to coast
no hanging
race.
out with the girlfriends thing.
And it's April 3rd and 4th.
Oh, you got time. It's the
fifth.
19th. And this way, I figure if you do well enough in that race, we'll go to Chattanooga where Jilly is and you could do the
In
race
May.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I could do back-to-back stuff
Yeah. Well, it's
there.
not in May. It's later in the year. But anyway, so
Chattanooga's May.
it's a 70.3. So you'll have to swim whatever the swim is. It's a 50-mile bike, which I could do with my eyes closed, and then you're going to do a 13-mile run.
No, that's a lot of
Yeah.
running.
So you're going to need to start getting in shape so you're ready for April. In 3 weeks, we'll be in Atlanta, Georgia for the world's toughest mudder. That's a 24-hour race, 5-mile loop, as many miles as you can get.
Well,
With
then
25
I guess
obstacles.
I will share some news that I
Uh-oh.
wasn't going to do on,
Drum roll, please.
yes, that you don't know.
Oh,
But he's going to need an invitation for Thanksgiving dinner somewhere and someone to do the show with him on that Saturday.
Oh,
because
where are you
I'm gonna
going?
I'm going to be in Chattanooga.
oh, so
And I asked you to go and you said you couldn't go.
maybe
and
I'll ask
so
Marty.
I'm going.
Maybe I'll ask Marty or Mr. Condelaris.
What, to come to our house?
No, to be on the show.
Oh, yeah, you
Marty
can do
was
that.
good. All righty. So that's coming up in Thanksgiving. So 3 weeks we won't be here. We'll be in Atlanta.
Jilly.
But we are having, don't forget about our hero special. Our Veterans Hero Special will be.
Right, that's coming
2
right
weeks.
up. Yeah.
So next week, I'm so happy we're turning the clocks back next week. I can't take the dark in the morning anymore. And I know the world wants to change or leave it the way it is, but I can't take it so dark
know.
so long, especially when I get up at 1 o'clock.
Are you planning on continuing to talk until next week when the clocks
Okay.
change?
Is that it? That's the end of the
That's it.
show. That's when she's had enough. She gets irritated. Bye-bye. See you in a week.